Welcome back, everybody,
Hello.
to part 2 of Bottom of the Barrel. We usually do not do a part 2 to our shows, but today's a special day. It is April Fool's Day, after all. So,
April Fools, we haven't watched the movie.
yeah, April Fool's. We never watched the movie, exactly.
Just kidding.
Yeah, just kidding. We watched a movie last night, actually, and now we get to talk about it, and it's not a fun time. I'll say that. Straight up,
Not a fun time?
Not a fun time. So we went and watched Morbius last night. We had a 9:30 premiere here in Alva, and I gotta say, this was an experience. This is not a good experience like the Lighthouse.
Experience.
This was an experience, I guess is the best way to put it. And so I want to start by saying this movie is not great. This movie is not bad.
Yeah.
This movie is perfectly, slightly below average, in my opinion.
I think it's, I wouldn't say below. I would say, maybe a little below average. Because, I don't know, it wasn't just awful.
It wasn't awful. Well, I think I'll get into it in a little bit more detail, but I mean, where do we want to start? Do we want to start with?
Well, okay. Why don't you start with what you start with what you didn't like, and we'll finish with what we liked.
Alrighty. So, for those of you who have never seen this before, because this one's going on YouTube, this is our first episode of Bottom of the Barrel going on YouTube. We might as well explain our rating system.
Yes.
For those of you that have not seen our show yet, we give 5 stars. We use the 5-star scale, and I give star for plot. Basically, is the plot original? How good is it? Or can you drive a truck through the plot holes or not? Basically, if you have that many plot holes, you've got a lot of problems, and I'm not going to give you a star on it. But if it is a good plot, you get the full star. If it's okay or something that's been done before, but you did a good job, you can get a half at the very least. And then moving on to characters. How good are the characters? Are they well developed? Are they likable if they're supposed to be? Are they unlikable if they're supposed to be? Is there a payoff for them at all throughout the movie if you've been building up to one? That kind of ties in with plot. And then special effects. I'm a big special effects guy. Sometimes it turns into cinematography or style choice or things like that. That kind of is your free space if it's a movie with practical effects.
Yes.
We were just talking about the Lighthouse. We just got done watching it. I mean, it can go all over the place, but for most Marvel movies, especially nowadays, most modern movies, that star stays with special effects. Yeah,
special effects are really big.
And then
to my chagrin. Yeah,
to your chagrin, and then I give 2 stars for how entertaining the movie is. I believe the worst thing a movie can be is boring. It's important to me that the movie's at least engaging in some way, because if I feel like you're wasting my time, then I'm just not going to watch it. I'm sorry. If it's a boring movie, why would I? If you're wasting my time, or I feel like I need to be doing something else, I'm probably just going to go do that instead.
Yes.
So, getting into, I'm going to start with what I liked, because I think
You're going to start with like?
I'm going to start with like and then go with dislike. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this a little bit the other way around from what we usually do. And I want to start with what I liked. I liked the actors in this movie. I thought they did a decent job at the minimum.
Okay.
I think Jared Leto, and despite the countless memes, he's been memed to death again.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. But I think he did an okay job as Morbius. Now I'm gonna specify or preface this by saying I'm not a big comic person. Never heard of the character before. All I know is he's in Spider-Man. Okay, cool. And he's a vampire, I guess. Cool. You know, that's not spoilers. If you've seen the trailer or even the poster.
Or because it literally says it on the poster.
Literally on the poster, he has fangs. So I guess I should not get into spoilers yet.
Nah.
But
we're ranting about the movie. We might as well just spoil it for them if they're watching this.
So spoilers if you're watching. Let me just give a little spoiler tag as we are live on Twitch as we do this. Got to add that tag, and boom, there we go.
And spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. And so, the things I liked about this movie, I like the acting, I like the villain. I think that I've never heard of him before. I mean, I think our friend who went with us, Ben, I think he was telling us he was one of the doctors in Doctor Who.
I believe so.
think.
Yes, I think so.
I can't remember his name, but he
Kind of looks
does,
like a young Crispin Glover.
yeah, but he does a phenomenal job as Milo, as adult Milo, I guess adult Milo. I mean, he is over 20, I think, in the movie. I don't know. They never specify ages, actually.
No,
They never
no,
really
they don't.
do. But I think the
Somewhere in their
actors,
30s, I think.
maybe between then and then, at some point, I don't know. There really is no time period at all in this movie.
Not really, no.
A bit odd, and we'll get into that when we start complaining more. But I think that the actors did a really good job. I think that there were some cool special effects when Morbius uses his echolocation. You see, like, his ears start turning into the bat ears, basically, and that you see the lines and everything like an actual bat would use for echolocation. You see the his reflections of things coming up. Like, there's a scene where he sees a train, and he senses it, and you see, like, the vibrations coming off it before it comes on screen, and then it comes on screen, you see all the vibrations around it. And I think that's really cool. I like stuff like that. I think that's a good use of effects, and, you know, just being able to move the plot forward using that. I think that was really cool to see. And then, I mean, the idea that, I don't know, I'm trying to think of what else. There's not a whole lot of, the more I think about this, I'm trying to think. I mean, the fight scenes were fun. I enjoyed.
They were. I
enjoyed
like the fight scenes.
scenes. I thought they were good. Trying to think what else there is.
They were a bit different. They weren't your typical fight scene with the way they did them.
Yeah, I would say it wasn't your typical Marvel fight scenes. It was more kind of, we got some airborne fights for a little bit, and I do appreciate a change in pace on that.
Well, I like how instead of doing the like the typical just smash and all this, you know,
they're just kind of hitting each other at times, or they're just kind of bumping each other in the air.
And I like the way it would freeze sometimes when they were doing it, so you could get like a good shot of them fighting.
Mm-hmm. As I said, that's kind of the Matrix shot almost.
Yeah, kind of,
where you get the stoppage there. I like all that stuff. I think that's fine and dandy. But I'm trying to think, what else is there that I liked about this? It's hard to think about because there really wasn't a whole lot to love there. I mean, there really wasn't. So, I would say, is there anything? What do you like about the movie?
Well, I mean, much like you, I thought the actors did a great job. I thought all of them were believable in their roles. We kind of talked about. Well, we talked about this. You talked about the special effects. I like the ear thing, and I like the echolocation. I thought it was funny. I thought it was a funny movie. It made me laugh out loud a couple times, you know. Yeah. Unfortunately, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
But other than that, I mean, like you said, there's not a lot to like about the movie or love about the movie. There were good parts. It was funny. The actors did a good job, and some of the special effects were kind of cool.
I mean, that's the main thing with it is just like, well, there's not a whole lot to say in the likes department, but moving on to, I guess, the dislikes, there's a lot of ground to cover here.
Yes, there is.
I mean, the plot, to me, this is one of the dumber plots I think we've seen in a Marvel associated movie. So, basically, this has been my main problem, and I'm going to rant about it till the end of time in here. This entire plot could have been avoided if the villain picks up a cane.
Yes.
Or if Morbius stays in jail.
Yes.
Because he gets put in jail for the murder of 8 men, which he did murder them. He turned into a vampire for the first time and all that. And there were like 2 main plots in the movie, or a plot A and subplot A, let's just call it.
Yes, yeah.
And they both get resolved in the first 35 minutes of the movie.
Yes.
Is Morbius going to be able to cure his disease? Yes. You already knew that was going to happen if you saw any of the movie.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, he did it. Now he's a vampire god.
Well, and it wasn't even like he had no failed tests.
No, that was the thing. He had one it was implied he had tried this a bunch of times on rats. And I think, so I'll give them credit for that. he didn't just insta success himself.
Oh, I kind of thought he did.
No, he did on himself because he tried it like it was like experiment 170A was.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's
So-
right. He
so
said that. I
I
remember
hope
that now.
he didn't start at 170, and at least I hope that's not what happened. It makes the movie even dumber if that's what happened.
Yes.
But looking at the rest of the plot, the other thing was the nurse. I'm sorry, I don't even remember the nurse's name.
I don't.
I was it like,
Sharon. Sharon.
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. We'll go with Sharon for the moment until I look this up. But this movie, I gotta say, how is the best way to put this? After plot A and the subplot, it just kind of exists for a little bit.
That's all it does. That's literally all it
It's
does.
like this movie has no direction to it.
Yeah.
It has no idea whether it wants to be serious or not, or a horror or not. It, like you said, it was funny. Most of that was unintentional, at least to me.
Yeah, well, so I would say some of the jokes were like
Some of them
worked.
worked.
But some of it was just, it was funny because of just the situation. You're just like, okay, what's going on? Like, they had one really good horror scene.
They did.
And I was like, oh, okay, now we're getting into the horror aspect. And then it just completely stopped.
Yeah, there's the one scene with the nurse where the lights start going. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's the scene you're talking
Yes.
Where, yeah, and then it finally, you get the music swelling and all that, and then boom, Morbius pops right behind
and
her.
it's your stereotypical horror scene.
Yeah, but I thought,
But it was fine.
yeah, and that's where I thought we were going with the movie
Yeah.
for a moment. And there was, Morbius is in jail now.
Ye-
Milo shows up to bail him out as his lawyer.
We find out Milo's a bad guy.
Yeah, Milo's the villain now. It's like,
Oh, now we toil in nothing for the next 45 minutes.
and it was just kind of like, okay, what do we do now?
Here's Jared Leto shirtless a few times.
Yeah, just to remind you, Jared Leto, he exists. He's in the movie. There you go.
And they didn't show
Morbius.
him. They didn't show him in his lab.
Like at all after the first act.
Yeah,
They
working on this stuff to kill him, and I was just like, And let's see. Okay, so the plot was just all over the place. And then we talked about the special effects. Neither
Yeah.
one of us liked the little
Okay,
fog thing.
I'm gonna rant about the special effects for a
Yeah.
little bit here. If you'll let me rant about this. This movie has, I've never seen this in a Marvel movie or even a Sony superhero movie. Anything associated with any of this.
X-Men 2.
Okay, I never saw X-Men 2.
Yeah, X-Men 2.
But I don't know if this is associated with the character or not, and if it is, it's fine, but I don't think it is because I don't think they would put that in a comic book. But every time Morbius or Milo fly or go really fast or do anything, it put the color behind them of the shirt they're wearing. So when Morbius breaks out of prison, he does like this big jump. You see all this orange just explode off him. And I'm just sitting there like, what? What is that? Why is that happening?
Smoke.
So like, why? This doesn't make any sense. Why is there orange shooting off? There's no reason for that. It's just like, ooh, look at what we learned. Look at this. Well, if we put orange around him, it draws attention to the thing you're already looking at.
That's true. That's a fair argument.
And then there's scenes where they're fighting each other, and to me it's distracting. I don't know if it is to you, but seeing these, orange and blue and black fly around the screen while they're fighting, like, they're in a subway that's well lit. Like, I don't need to see these colors going on. If it was in, like, dark alleyways or something and these bright colors are shooting off, that would make a bit more sense.
Yes.
But you're in New York City subway. What
Perfectly
are you doing?
lit. Yeah.
It's perfectly lit. And that brings me to another thing. The subway scene, there's another problem I have with it. And this is more, I'm just going to start jumping around at this point. If that's okay with you.
Okay.
I mean, we're in the full dislikes mode now, but there's a scene where Morbius and Milo are fighting, and after all the jumping around and doing and being vampires, Morbius learns how to fly, which was already kind of established that he could do. So, and he gets in front of he uses his echolocation to figure out there's a train coming, and he jumps in front of it and flies off.
Yes.
Milo has the exact same powers.
Correct.
how does he not figure that out?
He never flew.
He just kind of stands there dumbfounded for a moment, like, where did he go?
I don't know if he ever flew in the movie.
I thought he did at the end.
Did he at the end? I don't even remember him flying in the movie.
I thought he did at the end. I may be mistaken, but well, that's the thing I don't understand. It's like, I don't know if he just never figured that out, or because he figured all the other powers out.
He did, yeah.
It was like, how did he saw Morbius do it. It's not like he teleported or something. He saw him fly away, and it was just like, well.
I think they were trying to say that he did it right before the train got there.
Yeah.
So he didn't have time to follow him.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going after. But you could, like, see him in the background.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, well, I tried.
Oh, you got away.
You got away. I'll be back next time, Morbius. And then I'm trying to think what else was there. I mean, there's the doctor at the beginning who I liked when he was taking care of them when Morbius.
Oh, yes, yeah, I liked him.
I thought he was a good character. I didn't like the whole, like, obvious trap kind of. I don't know if it came off to me like it was a trap. Like the second Milo kills him, spoilers, he kills him.
Oh, when he comes in and visit him at the house.
Yeah, then Morbius gets the call from him, and he's like, you need to help me. And I was like, no.
Yeah, right.
I was like, I know what's going to happen because you've seen this in every movie that this happens. It was just like,
your girlfriend's going to get kidnapped, dude.
Your girlfriend's going to get kidnapped. And I was like, you'd think if Morbius, he's being a scientist and this smart guy and Nobel Prize winner, I would think he would have the brain cells to put together that.
Although they did kill the girlfriend.
They did kill her, and then they brought her back in the final scene.
Then they brought her back.
Then they brought her back.
They did kill her.
They did kill her, and I was really going to applaud the movie if they just let her die.
Yeah, lost Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, where they just let it happen.
Yep.
I mean, we have no connect. You can destroy that connection easily, and just as a one-off,
yeah.
That's his motivation for the rest of the series.
It would have been great.
What other movies he's in.
Which is probably not going to be any.
Which probably may not be a whole lot after this, but considering how I have already seen enough support, and support I used lightly, in terms of people showing up to empty movie theaters, taking a screenshot of the empty theater while Morbius is playing and being like, well, I'm here, checking in.
So, okay, where I think we kind of hit base on this, I think they missed the perfect opportunity to make a horror movie.
They really did.
And make it like a scary comic book character.
They really did. You have a vampire.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a perfect chance.
You have a horror icon.
And, I mean, vampires, when was the last time we had an actually scary vampire?
I don't know.
It's been forever. So this would have been perfect time to reintroduce it.
Yep.
And have a horror part. They tried it with, there was a movie a while back that came out, it was like New Mutants or something.
Yeah, that's the New Mutants, yeah.
And they tried to make a horror movie, and then COVID happened or something, and it all fell through.
Well, it was the last Fox movie before Disney bought the rights, so they didn't care.
Yes, that's what it was.
Phoenix. They just straight up, we're going to release this whenever we don't care.
So they had that perfect opportunity there in front of them, and they just kind of, and they started with it.
Yep.
And then they just gave up.
Yes.
And
they put all the pieces there in that first act. Okay, he's got to hunt. He's got to do all this. We're going to see some cool vampire stuff. And then it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, because they could have made it totally into like a mystery horror. They could have just been like, oh, is Morbius actually the one killing these people?
Yeah.
Is he like blacking out and killing them? Or is somebody else doing it? They easily could have done that.
And that's the thing that like and they set it up perfectly because even there's the scene where the two, I don't know who they are, detective guys, let's just say that, and they find CCTV footage, and they're looking through it, and they're like, well, who is that? And it takes 1 second to figure out who it is.
Right.
If there's 3 things you could have done to immediately fix this movie. Number 1, Milo doesn't drop his cane and just kind of hobbles in and fakes hobbling in or something. Because I'd like to think he's smarter than that.
Yes.
And unless he wanted to be, I don't know if the character was designed to be like, he does super obvious things. It's kind of like taunting them or something.
That's what I think it was. I think it was supposed to be.
But how much cooler would it have been if he came in, all sick and hobbled, flings the cane down, and basically tells Morbius, I'm going to kill these people. Yeah. I'm going to pin it on you, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Picks up his cane, hobbles it. That would have been cool. He does like some big villain speech or something. I think that would have been neat at least. Like, okay, he's self-aware of what he's doing, but he doesn't care because he has power for the first time and he wants to use it.
I mean, that his character was self-aware of what he was doing,
Yeah.
didn't care.
Yeah, and so I think that would have been cool. And then the CCTV scene, if you change it to where they can't tell who it is, or, I mean, I think that would be neat to where
It
they
just
still think it, or like,
Kinda doesn't look like him.
yeah, where they go like, okay, his hair's off, but, I don't know, did he shave, whatever. And so they don't know what's going on, and then, then you start to get, like, fear and panic throughout the city of, are there two of them? Or,
Right.
has Morbius broken out of prison? No, he's just chilling in prison.
See, and that would have been better, too, and you touched base on that. He should, literally, he just stays in prison.
Yeah, they figure out, oh, well, he's in prison, so it can't be
Yeah.
him. Let's go.
He wanted to solve the problem. There it is.
Mm-hmm. And then the other thing, and this is something we talked about getting out of the theater last night, the opening scene of the movie has nothing to do with anything. You were just wasting 5 minutes to show a cool scene of bats flying at the camera.
Well, and guess what? You could have added those 5 minutes into the middle of the movie and made the middle of the movie slightly better.
Yeah. So you could have taken those 5 minutes and pushed them to when they actually explain why there are bats in his lab.
Yeah.
And he could have explained, oh, I was in Costa Rica one time and I had to capture him for an experiment. This is my experiment.
Here they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, then you do like big dramatic pan, and here it is, this is my experiment. I finally found a way to transform them and all this. And I think that would have been neat.
It would have been.
I think that would have been a great thing to see. And then trying to think, what else is there to touch base on?
We need more Vulture.
We need more
Remember,
Vulture.
we're starting a hashtag, more Vulture.
Yeah.
Hashtag more Vulture. I was so annoyed.
Okay, so that leads me to the next main point we can talk about. Why did they film this entire Vulture scene for the trailer and then straight up not use it? And then not even... So, Vulture is in the trailer, if you've seen the trailer for Morbius. He shows up and is like, oh, Michael Morbius, I'd like to get to know you some more sometime, or something along those lines. And he's not in the movie at all. He's in both post-credit scenes, however.
Yes.
For a combined 30 seconds, where he phases into the universe and is like, oh, I'm here now. I hope the food's better in this prison.
It's kind of funny, though.
It was funny. It's funnier than most of the movie. And then there's another scene where Vulture shows up and talks to Morbius about what seems like forming the Sinister
Six, yeah.
And so that seems, which doesn't make any sense because Morbius doesn't know who Spider-Man is. Vulture's just like, I want to take down Spider-Man, and Morbius is like, yeah.
Is Spider-Man not in there?
I don't even know. Well, it's not established that he knows Spider-Man by any means. I mean, it's in Spider-Man's world. The Daily Bugle appears in everything.
I think that's Andrew Garfield's.
It might be, but it might be for all I know. But to me, it kind of came off as weird. Is like, how does he?
Yes.
How does he know who Spider-Man is already? I mean,
that's also true.
I mean, usually they would show like a scene establishing Morbius like watching the news for.
Well, he talks about Venom.
He did talk about Venom, and that was a bit weird because it's like, oh, that's a thing. Yeah, I guess they're all the same. I mean, it makes sense. They are the same universe.
Yeah.
But it was just like, okay, to me, that's a little odd. I'd like to see some, like, not leaping. I guess that's me personally. But I would like to see some connection to establish that they know what's going on instead of just knowing.
Well, I think they're assuming that you'll know that this is just the same universe.
Yeah. But I think you've also got to understand people are dumb.
Yeah.
Sometimes that includes me, where it's like, if you don't spell it out, especially like, okay, because we have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we have the Sony Spider-Verse.
Yes.
And they're technically intertwined, but they can technically be their own separate thing. So you don't know what is going on, and I think we're going to see that maybe become a problem, maybe not. It depends on how well they cooperate. And so I really want to know how this works.
Who was that?
Oh, that's just campus security.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like we just got visited by campus security, just letting us, because it's past their bedtime here at Northwestern.
Oh.
But anyway.
And I don't know. One, either they should have done two things. Either just not put the Vulture in it.
Or put him in it in the third act.
Or just have it be a Vulture and Morbius movie. Or if you were going to put the Vulture in it, don't make it seem like he's going to be in the whole movie and only have him in the after credits. Just have him in the after credits.
See, I wasn't expecting him in the full movie, but I was expecting him to show up at some point.
Well, I was expecting him to at least be in a half of the movie.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was expecting him to show up like mid-second act or something.
And we kind of talked about it. Morbius, it would have been better had they introduced Morbius in another movie.
Yeah. Like, if he would have popped up in, like, Venom or something.
Yes.
Or they make passing of, like, oh, by the way, there's this thing going on.
Yeah, like.
Or something.
Do you know this doctor? And showed the doctor.
Yeah, it's like, that's Michael Morbius. He did a thing. He dissed the King of Sweden. Oh, my gosh, that's amazing.
And all that would have been perfect. And then you could have gone to.
You could have gone straight into this.
Yes.
And you could have been like, okay, you know who Morbius is? Kind of.
Yeah.
We don't need to set up a whole lot. Here's his backstory. Takes 10 minutes. We're in. We're running.
And they could have just made the movie more complete. I don't know. They should have. It feels like they didn't plan on doing this.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they realized Venom did pretty good, and they were just like, pick somebody.
I think they were expecting Venom. It almost feels like they were expecting Venom to fail.
Yes.
So they could throw their arms up and say, well, guys, we tried to make a Venom movie. We tried to create our own thing. It didn't work. Sorry, we're still not giving you the rights, Marvel.
Right.
And Disney, we're not giving the Marvel rights all the way to you. You're going to have to let us keep Spider-Man because we're going to keep every 10 years making one of these.
Yep.
It felt like what they were going to do, but they decided not to.
Yes.
So I don't really know what they want to do now because this is another thing I was talking to. This is the first one that I think is legitimately going to fail of the Sony movies. Because Venom did well, and Venom 2 did well. Now, granted, this is only number 3 in their plan because they've still got Madam Web they're planning to do. I think they might be doing a third Venom movie. Some other stuff as I kind of get over here and try to look it all up.
To be fair, Marvel did survive Iron Man 2.
They did.
And Thor Dark World.
They did.
So
Thor Dark World, they were already in it. They'd already all in at that point, I think.
Well, they still survived that. That movie's bad.
I mean, it is bad.
I guess Thor survived.
Yeah.
But so I think as long as they try to actually do good with the next movie.
Yeah.
And it just felt so hobbled together. And I don't know how it felt so cobbled together when you spent 4 years making this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it really does not make any sense. It really doesn't. So, looking here at the film list, I'm going to pull up the Sony Spider-Man universe, the SSU, if you will. And we've got 2 more guaranteed that are going to be made here. We've already got Venom. We've already got Venom 2. Then we had Morbius. And then we get a Kraven the Hunter movie next year.
I don't know that one.
That's another Sinister Six guy.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Morbius.
I'm pretty sure. But Kraven the Hunter is pretty much he's like this giant hunter guy, and he hunts everything and something like that. I don't know. We're getting into
okay.
That. And then there's supposed to be a Madam Web movie, which is basically the Doctor Strange of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then there's supposed to be a Venom 3 at some point.
Good.
So there's at least 3 more of these that are supposed to be in development, and I guess we'll find out because there's already been rumors I saw. I'm not sure it's true or not, but I saw it. I don't know if people were messing around or because, that does happen a lot on the internet. People do like to have fun and mess around and lie about things, but I saw maybe where Marvel tried to pull the plug on the Vulture stuff because they don't want Morbius crossing over because they're like, listen, this movie's too bad. We're not doing this. I could see that being a rumor where someone's just trying to make stuff up for the sake of making stuff up because they didn't like the movie. But at the same time, that almost does seem like something Marvel would do.
Yes.
Where they're like, listen, this movie bombed. We're a business. We're not doing this. We're already established enough.
I don't know. After the Eternals, it may not be.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel the same way coming out of Morbius as I do with Eternals, where it's just like, man, I don't know. I don't know if we should keep doing this. And then you get good movies in between them, but it was just like, man, I don't know. We've had 2 bombs in the last 2 years,
That's true.
and that's not good.
But maybe it's just burnout.
It might be a little bit.
Although I honestly, I don't think burnout was what ruined this movie.
I don't think so either. I mean, this movie got delayed like 4 different times,
Yeah.
it felt like, where it was supposed to come out in January. And before that, it was supposed to come out like in 2021 at some point. I think at one point it was supposed to come out in 2020.
It was supposed to come out before COVID hit.
Yeah. They got pushed back by COVID. They got pushed back by COVID again.
Yeah.
It kept getting pushed back.
Like I said, it took 4 years to make a hobbled mess of a movie.
Yeah. And it did really feel like at times they were just throwing elements together. Like, all right, we got this, we got that. This is a plot, I think. And that leads me to a final point. Morbius just knows how to use bats to his advantage, which, I mean...
You mean he Batmaned him?
Yeah, he Batman's Milo at the end, and that's how he kills him. He just randomly, which I guess they did not establish this at all, because the beginning scene, he cuts his hand open, so they come after the blood.
Yes.
I guess they were trying to, maybe it was because he bled into the water and that's what drew the bats or something.
I think it was the sound.
I don't know. That might have been it too. But all these bats come out and swarm him and do like the bat tornado.
Yep.
And then he picks him up and does like this weird anime style move where he does like the hand motions and
Oh yeah, he Kamiha'd him.
He's like a bat bender basically.
Yeah,
he's
he Kamiha'd him.
At him
I
like,
forgot about that.
It's just like it's like, what is happening? And then that somehow works, apparently, even
Of course it does.
though Milo also has the bat DNA in him, which means it shouldn't do
He's
anything.
not one with the bats, though.
But he's not one with them somehow because Morbius stood in the chamber for 2 seconds with him, and they landed on his hand. I don't know. This movie's bad. The more and more I think about it, the more I'm just... If you think about this movie for at least 1 second, at any time you watch it, you'll realize, oh, that doesn't make sense. Oh, that's bad.
That's true.
This is one of those that if you turn your brain off, you'll have a really fun time, because it is a fun movie.
It is a fun movie.
I'll give it that. I did have fun watching it, whether it be intentionally or unintentionally. So we've rambled for about 30 minutes here. We should probably give our ratings on this and then get out of here for the night.
All right. You go first, because you're very upset about this movie.
I am upset about it, because I think it was because this movie had been almost hyped up unintentionally because it kept getting delayed. Like, okay,
Right.
we've been waiting 2 years for this movie now. It better have been worth it, and it wasn't, in my opinion. It really wasn't. And so, to me, I'm going to start with entertainment. I'm going to give it a 1.5 for entertainment.
Okay.
I think there were a few times where it was just so unbelievably just like, come on, man. Like, what is happening? Like, the bat scene at the end, like, that nearly took me. It was like, all right, he's going to deliver the shit. What the heck?
That almost made me leave. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, come on.
It was one of those I looked at and I was just like, he's going to Batman him today. The same thing. Then he starts doing the hand moves, just like, what did I walk into? This is how Morbius ends? With bat magic? And so I'm going to give it a 1.5 for entertainment value. For plot, there is no plot after 45 minutes. There's a plot for most of it, and it's like Morbius learning how to deal with being himself. And then he just kind of finishes that arc by the second act. He decides who he wants to be. He's like, well, I guess I got to be the anti-hero who saves the day this time, but not all the time. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Ooh. And so I'm not going to give it even anything for plot.
I would definitely not.
And then characters, they're okay. Like, outside of Morbius and Milo, I don't remember anyone else's name. None of them stood out to me, not even the nurse lady, who was important in the first act, and then after Morbius becomes a vampire, just kind of becomes a plot device.
Yeah.
For Milo to be like, hey, I like her indirectly. I'm gonna I'm gonna say it, but not say it. I'm gonna hint it strongly. And it was just like, okay, just come out and say it, dude. Just do it. Just bring it on home. Just tell Morbius straight up. You have no problem showboating around with other people.
Right.
And so it was just like, okay, whatever. So characters, I'm going to be nice and give it half a star because I did like some of the characters in the movie. I thought you had a decent hero and then a really fun villain. Even though he was cartoonishly evil at times, that kind of added to the charm of his villain. He just didn't care. And then special effects, oh boy, no. Just straight up no. There are scenes where Morbius looks really good when he turns into a vampire. There are a few of them. I think the closer up stuff looks fine. I think when it shows the echolocation and his ear changes and everything, I think that's great. The scene where he demorphs for the first time, I think is kind of neat. Seeing, he just slowly, his face gains its life back into it. I think there's some good stuff in there, but I can't get past how he looks like a video game character
from far away.
From the PS3, early PS3, late PS2 era. He looks like he's straight out of 2005 half the time when he's anywhere with away 15 plus feet away from the camera or way too close to the camera where you could see every pore and it's just like, okay.
It's way too close sometimes.
It's like, that's way too close. I don't need to see that.
Personal space, bud.
Yeah,
Personal
I know.
space.
It's like, okay, I don't need to see every inch of his face. That's what the rest of the screen's for. You got to put something else in there, boys. And then I can't get past the freaking color bursts. I can't. It's so ridiculous. It makes no sense to me. Like I said, keep it for night scenes if you want. And also, didn't you say his changes from purple to red for no
in the
reason
last
at
scene, it's purple the entire time, and then when he's about to kill Milo, it turns red for some reason.
Yeah, I don't
and I don't even know what happened.
I don't either. But overall, the special effects made me angry enough to negate every decent special effect in this movie. So I'm going to give it a 0 on that, which is a bit harsh, I think, but it just disappointed me. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. I think it's definitely nowhere near the worst thing I've seen.
And we've seen Avalanche.
We've seen a lot worse on bottom of the barrel, but it was by no means good. I mean, it was okay for the most part, but there were a few scenes where it's just like, come on.
Yes.
Come on. And, the opening scene makes no sense once you get past the first. I can't get over the fact that you start a movie with a scene that has nothing to do with anything other than, look at this cool effect. Here's bats flying at you. That
doesn't even move the story along.
It felt like it was just shot for IMAX. Look at the 3D bats. Look at this. Dude, look at it. It's flying right at you. Oh, boy. Here's the rest of the movie. Hope you like that 2 seconds of the bat flying at you. But, I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yes.
I feel like I was getting pranked the entire time. I was okay, when's the real movie going to start, guys? Okay. Aha, this is funny. When's the real movie? Oh, my God, this is the real movie. This is the real movie. I've been tricked. I mean, I'm going to watch it again probably just to not give it a second chance. I've already made up my mind on it, but see if there was something I missed in it the first time maybe, but
right.
I don't know. I was not impressed, I'll say that. And there were people in the theater who not really impressed with it. It was our general overall, I guess, kind of gauging the crowd we had Thursday night. So, my goodness, I didn't think I could rant about it for 40 minutes nearly, but you know what? We did.
Yeah.
We really did. So we thank you for tuning in.
You want me to give my rating?
Yeah, you probably should.
Okay.
I'm going to thank him for tuning in anyway. You dealt with me ranting about a movie way longer than I should.
All right. So I'm not quite as down on it as you are.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start right off with special effects. Whereas I do agree, I thought the color burst and some of the face stuff was pretty dumb. I'm not as big on special effects as you, so I thought they had good special effects, so I'll just give it half a star.
Yeah.
I think that the characters, much like you, I like some of the characters in the movie. But outside of Milo and Morbius, they are pretty forgettable. Well, at least their names are. So I'll give them half a star. It puts us at 1. Plot, this had more plot holes than Swiss cheese. My God. There was no plot in this entire movie, and it annoyed me throughout this entire movie. And what little plot there was over within the first, we'll introduce it, and it's solved. Annoyed me. Hated that. So 0. 0 on 0.
Yeah.
0. So that leaves us with entertainment. Now, I agree. I thought it was a pretty entertaining movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there was a boring part. Well, there was here or there, but, it wasn't anything that took away from the movie because every movie has slow parts.
Yes.
So I'll give it 1.5 with you. So, 2.5.
Yeah. I'll say
I wouldn't go out. Look, if somebody offers to pay for your ticket, do it because it's not an awful movie. Yeah. I wait for the DVD release or Blu-ray release, and then wait for it to go in the $5 bin because it probably won't take very long to go in the $5 bin.
More than likely.
So look for it on. Does Sony?
Sony has the rights to this, so they're probably
HBO Max.
If they do what they did with Spider-Man No Way Home, No Way Home just came out, and it's like you either buy the DVD or you don't get it.
Oh, okay.
It's like $20 on streaming services right now.
Okay, so just don't pay $20 for it.
It's not worth $20.
Yeah.
Go watch No Way Home if you're going to spend $20 on this movie.
Or just go watch it in the theaters because if you're going to spend that much money, you might as well watch it where it's meant to be watched.
If you plan on watching it at any point, if you plan on waiting to buy the DVD, just go watch it in theaters. It'll be cheaper, and you don't have to say that you own Morbius on DVD.
Right. But I honestly do not think it was a bad movie.
I don't think it was either. I really don't.
I know we said below average, but it's average.
Yeah.
To me, it's think like Transformers. It's very Transformers to me.
Yeah.
Just okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the best way to sum it up. It's just not great, not good, not bad or horrible. It was just eh.
Yeah, it's just
Sometimes movies are just eh. I mean, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but at least it wasn't bad. It wasn't Thor 2.
Yeah, and they just like we talked, they just missed such a good opportunity.
Yeah, the pieces were right there.
Yep.
And they just flipped the table instead of finishing the puzzle.
Good job, Sony.
Yeah, you know.
You did it again.
And apparently these are the people that are going to do Madam Web, so people are already flipping out that the same director is in charge of that project. So people are now worried that Madam Web is going to bomb.
Hashtag need more Vulture.
Yeah, I say just let Vulture get his own movie.
Yeah, just Vulture.
Just let Michael Keaton do whatever he wants for 2 hours. I'll watch it.
Make it Birdman too.
Yeah, there you go. That would probably be a more entertaining movie. Have him cross over with Venom. Have anything happen.
Oh, that'd be good.
Literally anything. More Vulture.
Hashtag more Vulture.
That's all you need to do. We didn't get a better than Smog in there today, so more Vulture instead.
There was no reason to have it better than. I guess if you want to go, the special effects weren't better than Smog.
Yeah, there we go. For the first time in bottom of the barrel history, Smog had better special effects.
I'm just kidding. They were definitely better than Smog.
There you go. There you go. That's
hashtag better than Smog.
That's how we have to end it. So for Joshua Hinn, I'm Cade Kennedy. We thank you for tuning into this late night edition of Rants About Movies. I don't know if we'll do this often enough, but what I can tell you is Fridays at 5:30 on NWTV7 on Twitch, we watch bad movies, we make fun of them, we rate them, we do the whole shebang. And we would encourage you, if you watch this here on whether it be on Twitch or YouTube, to come and give it a try. You know, you may like it, you may not. I understand it's not for everybody watching people talk over a movie, especially if it's a movie you like. I understand that's not appealing to some, but to others it is. And so you can give us a follow on Twitch, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We even have a TikTok now. You can all look up NWTV7 on most social media platforms, and we will be there. So we thank you for tuning in, and have a great night, everybody.